right, what's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Trust the Tape. My name is Jeff Cavanaugh, and I'm your host. Cavanaugh! Except also he's your host, because it's a co-host. There's two hosts. So also he's your host, and that is the greatest drafter of all time. Check the 1998 Philadelphia Eagles draft if you don't believe me. And the owner of Crown Global Media, former Cowboy scout, the great and powerful Bryan Broaddus.
Hey, Brian.
Who we encourage you to make sure you're following Crown Global Media on both YouTube and Twitter, where Bryan is currently trying to get his Twitter account back and does not have access to 130,000 followers. And the Cowboys are losing. And as a business owner, it's a time when he needs to get things done, but without his massive reach on Twitter, it's tough. So make sure you're following Crown Global Media on both Twitter and YouTube. Good morning, Bryan.
Jeffrey, thank you so much for always doing that. Don't let anybody ever say you don't have my back. You do. You have my back. I appreciate a lot of frustration right now, but hey, your football team got a victory yesterday. So and talking to some folks this morning, by the way, about this.
I don't like the way you said, and your team got a victory. Like that was a good thing. Anyway.
Oh, no. I mean, I think there are a lot of people out there that are happy the Cowboys won. Talking to folks this morning, kind of coming in, this head coach so far as of this morning, I guess getting off the plane last night, he ain't backing down from not wanting to play games and win. He's not. This is not a well, let's see how this week kind of goes. I was told this morning this coach is going to go try and win a football game here in 10 days or so.
He going to put the quarterback out there against New York?
I think he's going to put the quarterback. Well, we got 10 days. But as we are speaking here on the 26th of December, I was told this morning this guy's going to go try and win football games. So,
right, that quarterback got sacked 6 times, and every one of them made me scared.
I tell you what, man, you talk about the 6 times. 2 of those sacks came off max protection, which is crazy to think of. But
looking back at it, because I have not filmed I haven't done film on the game, but in real time, it sure felt like a lot was left side. Was that a lot of Bass and Smith?
Well, I'll tell you what, man, Smith had a couple of them where he wasn't very good. Booker wasn't very good. Steele wasn't very good. They kind of all took turns. Where the Commanders got you a little bit is they took advantage of no Williams being in the game, with the shoulder and all that. And they made, with Davis having to block Malik Davis, that's a little bit of a problem for you to have to deal with. And, they spanned forward, gave one up. Like I say, they had a couple times max protection.
They got whooped on that one.
Yeah, they got you inside a little bit. There was the first sack was interesting because it looked like, how the Cowboys like to peel the guard out and kind of set it up to where they can launch that thing going down the left side there. It's kind of like roll right, launch it. And they on that roll right, launch it play, they bracketed both Lamb and Pickens. They had no shot. And so Dak did what he had to do. But that was a max protect. And that was what happened is when you watch Bass with the peel, it's kind of like that BB felt like that maybe he was still there with him going to help. And it's almost like BB forgot that there was a peel situation because the way he sat and the way his eyes were, he was thinking that he was going to get Bass on his hip to be able to, and Newton just blew by him that way. And so they had some coordination issues. I thought the quarterback held the ball watching the game live, but I kind of understand why he did what he did. There was a sack they gave up where they ran 4 to the sticks and curled, and I felt like he could have got that one off to Pickens. Everybody else was kind of taken care of. Ferguson, Lamb, the others were all kind of taken care of. But I felt like he could have thrown that one inside. He looked that direction and then went back to his right. But yeah, they had some coordination problems. They had some tight end problems. They had some running back problems. It was not a good day for the crew picking up picking up pass rush stuff.
But not quite enough to accomplish the ultimate goal. As I'm on Tankathon right now, drop down to 15th overall. That's tough, but that's all right. We'll figure this out. We'll find our way to the good players that we need.
Got a Minnesota victory, man. How about that?
That was big. They got you back up one.
God, dang. How about that? How about Detroit? What is Detroit doing? What are we doing?
We're
losing to backup quarterbacks. What are we doing?
This is a wonk. Didn't he throw for like 3 net yards? The quarterback in Minnesota and got the dub over the Detroit Lions. I don't know. It's a wonky league. It's a wonky league this year. The best teams in football right now are Sam Darnold and Bo Nix's teams, followed by Drake May and Caleb Williams' teams.
How about that?
It's a
should be a hell of a playoff. Should be a hell of a playoff. Yeah,
it will be. It will be. Poku fan is in the chat, and he said playing Dak at MetLife is a fireable offense. If he gets hurt, it would be so bad. It would be so.
Oh no,
bad.
I'm just telling you, as we speak this morning, and our show being taped here or live at 8 a.m. I was talking to people bright and early this morning. And I'm like, hey, is this quarterback still? I mean, excuse me, is this coach still? Oh yeah, he's still. He has not backed off from that. He's got 10 days to think about it. He's got 10 days. We'll see. I want to believe. I want to believe this. I want to believe that Jerry and Steven are going to let him do it. I think Jerry and Steven are about let's go try and be 8-1. I do believe that.
Yeah, you know what? I can see it, and I guess I could see, and you don't need to think this way. You just need to have more confidence in yourself than this.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see if you are right in the middle of it, viewing it as when we finish the season, I don't want people to be able to use the word loser.
We're
7-9-1.
Trust me,
were losers at 8-8-1.
Trust me,
we weren't
trust
losers.
me. I did that for 13 years. When we got to 8 wins, I was in my soul. I was happy because it wasn't a losing season. And this is when we were with the Green Bay Packers, and they had 20 straight years of losing football. When we got that 8th win, and then the 9th win, it was like, yeah, all right. This was good. I thought this team, when we did our breakdowns and stuff, I didn't have them beaten Kansas City and all that, but I had them beaten Chicago and Carolina and Arizona. But I think it was a 9-8, and they weren't going to be in the playoffs. But I was going to call it successful because you didn't need Shoddy to be 5-12 or 4-13. There's some teams right now, the Saints. Look at Kellen Moore. What's Kellen Moore going to say to that team in the offseason that they're going to believe? I think
the one thing you say is, look, guys, I don't want you to not take accountability for your role in this.
Yeah.
Our team sucked, and we're going to try to get better players.
I totally agree. But you're trying to sell your program, and you're trying to sell that, hey, we're doing things the right way. And that's where I think the disconnect is between the fans and the players. The fans are looking at this as like trying to get better picks, and the players are looking like, you're asking me to lose. No, I'm all year long. You've asked me to win in training camp. You asked me to win, practice in Oxnard. You asked me to win, now you want me to lose. That's a hard thing to sell to players. And like I said, my experience being in the front office, when you got the 8th win, it was honestly a relief, because you're like, they can't call us losers today. So
yeah, and I think to Dak and to CD Pickens, Tyler Smith, Quinnen Williams, I want you to know, I would never ask you not to win.
Yeah,
I'm asking you to enjoy your family. I'm asking you to take care of your body, and I'm asking you to get ready to win the Super Bowl next year. And I want Joe Milton to go try to win this game.
Joe Milton might be able to go beat the Giants.
And if he does, that's fine. If he does, it's fine.
Who shows up for the Giants? That's going to be a question. I mean, Mike Kafka is an interim coach. He's likely going to end up back in Kansas City next year. I mean, there's a lot of things that the Giants are going to have to go through, but we'll see how they play this game. We'll see who they line up with. But
let's see where they at. They currently have the number 1 pick. So
they do. And
I got news for you. The Giants
they won a game.
Nobody.
That I'm telling you what, man, we might get the Lovie Smith game. We might get the Lovie Smith game. Remember
They
Lovie
cough it
Smith?
up.
Remember Lovie Smith? They were playing the Colts and they had the number
Texans,
one
right?
pick. Yeah, the Texans.
Yeah,
And
and he accidentally
Lovie
won.
went out there and said, "You guys are going to fire me? F you. I'm going out a winner." He did. He did. And they ended up, hey, they were wanted. I think they wanted Bryce Young, and they ended up with the guy they got. But
Hey, it worked
but
out then.
it did work out.
out.
Lovey told them, like, "F you. I'm not going to lose today. No chance. No chance today."
I would tell him he's fired.
Oh, he was. He was fired after the game.
I would say you're fired before this game starts.
No, he's fired. He won the game, man. I think the dude was like fake punting, onside kicking. He was doing all kinds of things to try and win that game.
Well, I think I could illustrate and again, we simplify things and make it fun by talking about tanking. Tanking does not mean you're asking your players not to play well or not try their best. You're just strategically.
They don't understand. I mean, players don't understand.
You're strategically sitting people and protecting them for next year. And then if the other guys go win it, so be it, right? Your players are going to try their best. But just to illustrate how important I think it could be, the difference between winning a couple of games. Like if the Cowboys had found a way to lose yesterday and next week, and they were to finish, would it be 6-10-1?
6-10-1, yeah.
Right now, that would put you at the 11th pick.
Yeah.
And depending on the things around you, right, somewhere around there. If you finish 8-8-1 right now, that'll be somewhere between 16 and 18. And just for the illustration, because I do believe one of the things that the Cowboys need the most, that's also one of the hardest things to find, is they desperately need somebody who can get to the quarterback that doesn't play.
Oh, no question.
Right?
Yeah.
So for you, the guys you've seen that are the pass rushers in this draft class, are you comfortable with an order of them at the top?
Oh, well, yeah. We've talked about
rusher?
It's Bain. It's Bain. I want the bendy guy, though. I think Bain is a power bendy kind of a player. If you ask me some guy, I know that the Bailey from Texas Tech is up there as well. Yeah. Bendy, a little bit of a linear, kind of an undersized in the way of weight wise. Howell from Texas A&M. I think Howell from Texas A&M is both. I think he's bendy and a run player. I think you got plenty of run players playing now for you. You need bendy, get after, get the guy on the ground guy. That's who you need. And I don't know. I don't think you're going to have a shot at the Ohio State kid. I don't. I saw something interesting where mock draft where Styles was picked with Dallas's pick, and then McCoy was picked with Green Bay's pick. I saw that which is kind of a flip from what we've seen initially. I'll tell you what's going to happen. If you're really interested in Styles, if you're interested in the linebacker from Ohio State, this is going to be very much like we kept getting Ashton Genty projected to Dallas, and then it became McMillan, and then it was okay. Then you settle with Booker. I think the same thing's going to happen with these linebackers, with guys like Styles and people like that. I think where everybody's got them in a spot, and then when it's all said and done, they're going to be like five guys. Okay, and if you talk about losing and being 6-10-1.
Well, and just quickly, just to the point that I wanted to get to there is the difference is like how many pass rushers. If let's say you had the 10th pick, Arvell Reese from Ohio State's probably gone. If you,
I don't think Reese is
maybe one
there.
more is gone at 18. You might lose 4 of them. And it's just like for a team that desperately needs that on draft day when you're in April. I don't think there will be a single player at the house going, yeah, but we sure did get Washington there in week 17. Like I don't think once you're all the way technically eliminated, I don't believe there's such a thing as like, now we're sitting here on March 6th at the house and Dak's calling his friends like, remember now, we won 8. That's good. Like, I think it's all.
Oh, no, no. But see, that's the difference. That I've been blessed to be on both sides of the fence on this one. And I totally understand what they're doing. I totally get it. I've lived this one. I've totally lived now being a media guy for 15, 16 years of wanting the best draft pick and talk about the best draft pick.
Yeah.
You know, Dallas seems to do really well when it's a top 12 pick, top 13 pick,
Yeah, sure.
top 50. Dallas does a really good job. They've proven they do a really good job. What Dallas needs to do differently that they haven't done in the past is stop listening to so many people in that building. You know, the owner and general manager and stuff is not going to change. That's not going to change.
Sorry, guys.
But what will change, or what could change, is the fact that if Will McClay doesn't have to deal with coaches and scouts and everybody else in that building, you know, if you had a situation where you could just honestly go in there and like just tighten that room up, just tighten it, like, okay, I don't want influence from coach. I don't want influence from scout guy. I don't want influence from the Joneses. Just let Will like get all the information. If he's got a couple of guys he really, really relies on, go draft that way. Don't all this consensus and conversation. I think it's hurt them more than it's helped them. If you could say, give me a change in the Dallas Cowboys front office that would, I think, would work, take out all the voices. Just tighten that thing down to where it's Will, maybe Steven, and one other guy or two other guys. This consensus thing at times, I think, has really hurt them. And then Jerry standing there and telling us that, oh, we took this guy because old Barry Switzer told us to take this guy. What? Okay. You know, if things are going to change, it's going to have to be Jerry tightening that room and not allowing coach who can't evaluate an opinion, scout who struggles to evaluate and still has a job, has an opinion, you know, whoever else you want to throw in there. They love to talk to other people. They love, trust me, when this coordinator job comes open on defense, Jerry is going to call Bill Parcells and he's going to ask him about Todd Bowles. And he's going to, you know, that's what Jerry does. He's got this little group of guys that not only doesn't always give him the best advice. And that needs to change for some of the drafting. I honestly believe if Will McClay just was able to do his job, this roster would be fine. And I know people out there don't like Will McClay. You could be that way. I think Will McClay does a really, really good job. I do. I think he's put in a terrible situation to have to deal with his own scouts, the Joneses, and these coaches. I think if he ran his own organization, you would see a team much like what's run in Philadelphia. I really do believe that.
That'd be fun. You'd have to change your spending habits a little bit in your approach to free agency, but that would be real nice. I sure would.
You know what? They something needs to be done differently. And my hope is with the Dallas Cowboys that when we start to talk about in February, you know, we get to that point where the free agency starts to get really hot and heavy. I would like to believe that Jerry Jones will step up and do the right thing and go out and spend money and then give himself the flexibility for those two number one draft picks that he has this year.
Can I riddle you this? We got 1 week left, and it sounds like if they play their guys, Tyler Smith will be your left tackle in your final game against the New York Giants. Where are you leaning on what his long-term is? Do you buy that they might actually be playing him at tackle long-term?
No, I don't. I really don't.
God.
I know. I think that to me, it's funny because, you know,
better be fun.
Christy Scales was on with our pregame show, and we asked her that question. She felt like that it was long-term. I get the impression that this was just because of what's going on injury-wise with the whole thing with Guyton and then Thomas and stuff like that. He clearly, now, not to say that he can't go out there and work and spend the whole offseason with Duke and you know, get his feet going and hands going and all that. He is such a much better player inside than he is on the edge. I mean, and you could tell when you could see the frustration level at certain points in time of a game when he's not blocking at the level that he's accustomed to. Yeah. You could see in his body language when it's a pressure and Dak gets the ball away, but you could tell that he's like, damn, this sucks. He would rather be inside battling guys like Newton and others at defensive tackle than he would battling guys on the edge.
Yeah, and I one of the things that I came up with yesterday, kind of on the fly, but I do believe it, is that the Cowboys, especially in recent history, like they have a history of being a shortcut team. And maybe a different way to phrase that doesn't sound as insulting would be they operate with a lot of optimism. And maybe that's because they've had to over the last 2 or 3 years, because you've been talking about this for probably 3 years now. They keep having more talent leave than they bring in every offseason, right? Yeah. And then you're missing in the draft. So now you're just deficient in so many places. And I think if they tell you that Tyler Smith is going to be the left tackle, they're doing it from a place of that, where they're looking for a shortcut because they've come up short and how they've added talent to the team, and they don't have a better idea, and they don't want to use another first-round pick. And so they're going to do something that isn't going to end well because – oh, he's a first-round pick. We pay him a lot, so surely he can do it, and I can sell this to you, and that would be a shortcut. And I don't want shortcuts. I want the All-Pro to play his All-Pro spot.
I agree.
We'll figure out left tackle. And
I agree.
If that means that we can still have Guyton penciled as our starter, but we realize we don't like the depth behind him, and we're going to have a $7 million backup offensive tackle, get one. Like, Don't shortcut us. If you're going to run out a team that has Dak Prescott, Quinnen Williams, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Tyler Smith, it's amazing to have that much high-end talent and still have so much to do, but you got to go do it. You put yourself here. You put yourself here when you let all of your players walk, and they've just been on such a tough run of the decision-making. Like Bland over Jordan Lewis. Whoops.
That to me is the worst decision that they've made. They've made some poor decisions, but that's the one that to me was Jordan Lewis needed to be paid for everything that he brings to your team, the attitude, the toughness, the smarts. That's the one player you can't let walk. And they did. Yeah. They did, and they had him for cheap for years. And he just finally he's got an offer. Somebody smart, a team that's in the playoffs, watching tape. Their pro department's like, we get a chance to go get Jordan Lewis? Are you kidding me? Let's go.
That's the part that really sucks. Is I know Micah's hurt, but like Micah's team is going to the postseason. Tank Lawrence is going to the Pro Bowl and the postseason. Jordan Lewis is going to the postseason. And you look back at the guys that the Cowboys chose to pay, and you go, man. Yeah, and it's just they're kind of on a run of that, and
it's bad. I'll tell you what, that Aiden Durdee, that coach at Seattle, that MFer can coach. This is where I have my questions about Aaron Whitecotton. I really do. Where is it? Where is it? We kick Flues and Overstreet and those guys. We kick them, for all the stuff. Where has it been with this defensive line?
But and I think that goes back to, and
the players aren't great either. But but you're telling me that, let's be honest, Ezra Raku should have more than 2 sacks. He should. He honestly should. And is that on him? Some. But he should have more than 2 sacks. How about Fowler? How about Sam Williams? How about, they're just, you got a guy off the couch who's one of your best players, and Clowney. And Clowney's got a lot of pride, and he's going to play hard. And, you missed him the one game he was out. But where is it, man? I have more confidence. And maybe I have too much confidence in the offensive line coaches. Maybe I have too much confidence in those guys. But I think coaching does matter. I think it really does matter. You look at some of these teams around the league, I think coaching matters to a lot of them, especially you can't tell me New England all of a sudden became like this. Elliott Wolf's a good general manager, young general manager. He needed Mike Vrabel to walk in there with his coaching staff and figure all that out.
That goes to one of the last times.
Ben Johnson?
one of the last times you had a rant on this show was about
Yeah.
how they don't try to have the best coaches. And
They
so like
don't.
all of this stuff adds up, man. And I know Jeff hates Jerry. Jeff hates Jerry. I hate that the guy who runs the team that I want to win bought a job and isn't good at it. I do hate that. But I think that's part of it. Like you have your team is worth the most, and you do not try. Like, can you think about how silly this statement is? But it's true. You don't try your best to have the best coaches.
Oh,
don't.
that's yeah.
You don't try your best to have the best coaches. There's no cap on the spending for it. And you literally don't try to have the best coaches.
Yeah.
You find the ones that you're like, yeah, good guy. I can work with that guy.
Oh, I've worked with him before.
Situation.
Yeah, worked with him before. I think that's why, and I think Todd Bowles is a good coach. But if Todd Bowles becomes available in Tampa, he'll have an inside track because they know him. And like I told you earlier, Jerry will call Parcells, and Parcells will say, Jerry, Todd Bowles is out there. You could do far worse for a defensive coordinator. When actuality, he should be talking to that guy in Minnesota. What that guy does in Minnesota is so impressive to coordinate all those guys. And yeah, it's some veteran guys, but man, he coaches with toughness. They play with an edge. You look at how they play. Those guys play hard for him. And, he might be, he's suing the NFL and all that. He's a malcontent. I don't care, man. That guy coaches. He does things where I want my defense to look like that. I want my defense to be coming after and being aggressive and attacking and playing good coverage, and tackling well. That's what I want my defense to look like.
I agree.
I don't.
I think there's enough things that are the basic level of like the beginning of trying to win a Super Bowl that this team opts not to do. That is crazy to me. QC Hawks is in the super chat at this point. How many QBs will be picked before Dallas's first pick? Always wondered. How do you guys know where to start looking at players when you say you've been through 25? Dane's list.
I go. There's a couple different ways. I initially start with Dane's top 50. And then after I finish that, then I go to Pro Football Focus, and then they start going like 51, 52 on down is where I start. I don't go in I try and go random positions. I don't want to have I don't want to do 50 players and have 12 of them be wide receivers or 12 of them be defensive ends. I mean, I've looked at a guy that's a center. I've looked at a couple of guards. I've looked at tackles. The quarterbacks are something that there'll be a couple of these guys. One of the Indiana guy, you're going to be able to see through the playoffs. I think that's the kind of film that I'm kind of waiting on. I've seen Indiana play a bunch on tape from you being an opponent of, Indiana's good tape to watch as an opponent. They do a great job. Yeah. But yeah, these quarterbacks right now, my gut feeling,
Mendoza Moore.
Yeah, that's kind of right where it is. If you want to say, yeah. I think that's kind of where it's at right now. I don't know before Dallas picks, those would be probably the two guys that would be off the board before Dallas picks.
Yeah, so if you're trying to watch college guys and it's way earlier in the year, Pro Football Focus will have a big old list.
Yeah.
We usually get a hold of Dane's top 50 before the rest of the world does, which is nice. And then if there's just other draft guys that you have some sort of respect for, you could use them. Like I think last week, Mike Renner is now at CBS Sports, which is an outlet.
CBS Sports has got some good names too.
I've always made fun of their stuff because I think their rankings are hilarious most years. But they did hire a guy, Mike Renner, who used to be at Pro Football Focus, that I think he's good. He does the work.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Like 150 out. So there's a lot of places I pick.
All you need are the names. If you just get the names, just go through the names, and you might see, well, damn, they've got this guy rated as a second-round player, and he should be a third-round player. Put him in the third round. Put him where you think he needs to be.
Right.
But there are teams like Jeff's talked about, CBS Sports, Dane Brugler's got a list, Pro Football Focus, if you're part of that program.
Of course, at All City, you need to check that one out.
Fran Duffy, yeah, absolutely. There's some, you should be able to get all the names. And
then sometimes my favorite way to get to a guy that I'm not familiar with yet, and even in the last week since I saw him, I just pulled up Pro Football Focus's rankings for fun, and he's suddenly jumped 30 spots right after your boy's been talking about him. when I was watching David Bailey, the Texas Tech pass rusher.
Yeah.
I told you before we went on air one time, I don't think it was on the air, but I told you, I was like, man, I watched him against Utah because I wanted to see Fano against Bailey. And he blocked him pretty good.
He sure did.
Kinda. And then, but he couldn't block number 9.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's number 9 on Texas Tech? And the answer is LaMelo Height, who I think he might sneak into the first round. Like he's even more undersized than Bailey. But when guys just that you don't know, and I look them up, and a lot of times if they show up like that, a lot of times the answer is they're a freshman or a sophomore. And it's like, oh, you haven't heard of him because he's not eligible. And then I look him up and I'm like, oh, he is draft eligible. And I haven't heard his name yet. That's the fun part about the draft to me.
Yeah.
You slap a guy to the second round that you haven't even heard of yet. That's fun.
You know, Height, interesting story. And I don't think I've seen one of these yet. This is the first one. A guy that went to 4 schools.
Attaboy.
Started off in Auburn, couple years at USC, then went to like Georgia Tech, and then ended up at Texas Tech. My man is a mercenary.
And he might end up being the best pass rusher in this draft class.
He's pretty good.
He won't get picked by some of these guys because he's going to be like
he is a bendy, get after you guy. There's no question about that.
Yeah, he's going to be one of the real life. Like you'll talk about David Bailey and be like, well, there is power in there. You can maybe see him become a run defender.
Bailey jumps around. Bailey will jump around some blocks sometimes. You got to be careful, man. He'll jump around a block and all of a sudden there's a big old gap, you know.
Oh, yeah. I don't think he's a good run defender. Like I think he might start his NFL career as that's a pass rusher. But I think that he's at least a little bit bigger than his Texas Tech teammate, and there's probably more power in there. So you're like, I could see it develop.
Right.
Whereas with Height, you're like, that dude's chasing the quarterback. That's
no
what
question.
he's doing. If you line him up on the edge and somebody's blocking him, he's going to end up in the 6th row. But he'll come get your quarterback.
And no question about that. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Bryan. Good luck on getting the Twitter account back. Make sure so you can get Bryan's thoughts on Twitter. You're following the Crown Global Media account and follow him on YouTube as well to get the content from him and Vach. And they got a draft show that's coming up as well with, what is it, Zach?
Zach and Aisha, yeah, the Stack. We got a show called The Stack on, which is going to crack that thing up on January 6th. So we'll have a couple of shows related to really back to back. I know Vach and I get into, we'll still be doing Cowboy stuff and talking about the team and team building. And then also we're doing a lot of draft coverage. So we'll have a couple of shows that really focus on the draft if you're interested.
Crown Global Media. Also make sure you're following at DLLS Sports on YouTube as well to catch me Monday through Friday. All right, everybody have yourself a wonderful day. Remember, you have no idea what anyone's going through. Be cool to everybody. We love you. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and be easy.